to another episode of Notoriously Opinionated. It's your man, Scrap the Film Guru. What it do? What's happening? What's up? Um, Tonight I'm I I you know I high key been on this dude's top all week, you know, and I will continue to be on this dude's top all week, right? Because as long as there are people politicizing what's going on in this nation, uh, I'm going to bring the other side of the story, right? So I'm gonna get into how people are making uh, Charles into a martyr, right? Comparing him to the likes of uh, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., right? Where they getting this crap from, I have no idea, right? But I'm gonna get into that a little bit later. Um, what I want to highlight in the outset is this: I'm confused. Like I'm confused for real. Um, I'm confused by how people are saying that this was an assassination. I'm gonna come back to that. Two, how this was a political assassination. I'm gonna come back to that. Three, after this dude was killed, right? Why all these tiki torch whites decide they want to go marching and stomping down the street in they little boots talking about white men fight back? I agree. Again, as I've stated before, I agree. White men fight back. All this white on white violence must stop. It's unbecoming. So yeah, white men fight back. Oh, wait a minute. You do know it was a white dude that killed Charlie Kirk, right? Maybe y'all didn't get that memo. If you stop watching Fox News, turn on something other than Fox and Friends in the morning, you might see something else other than what the conservative right is trying to tell you, right? It was a white dude that killed Charlie Kirk from quite a distance away, right? So the question now becomes, why is all y'all anger directed toward black people? We ain't did nothing to that fool, you know? Did we like him? Hell no. Do we give a damn that he's gone? Absolutely not, right? Did we kill him? No. It was not a black person that killed him. It was not a brown person that killed him. Lay off the essays. They didn't kill him neither, you know? Even though he was always talking about wanting to get rid of all of the immigrants, I don't know why he didn't take his ass out of the country. Him and his family is immigrants. They to the last time that I checked, they not Native American or black. Get out. That was his whole rhetoric. Get out. So I don't understand why a young black man had to be the second victim of this. See, he talked himself upon his own demise, you know, because he spoke himself into perishing into existence. That's not black people's fault. That's not brown people's fault. That's his fault. It's a K word. You know it. You love it. Say it with me. Karma. That when he got to talk. See, here's the problem. The problem with this whole thing was he thought he could be the CEO of his words and not a client. You know, you can't be the CEO of your rhetoric and not take responsibility and also try out the product. See, it was cool when it was somebody else being the victim and dying so that people can celebrate their Second Amendment rights. But when he gets to popping off and got popped off and it was what it was, now it's a problem. Now it's a problem for the US government that people on the left, on the right, up top, down low, in the middle don't give a damn. We don't care one way or another. You know, they talking about black people are celebrating this man's death. No, we not. We're not celebrating. We just not mourning. There's a difference. So we're gonna get into this. We're gonna get into the tragic demise of a young man at Delta State University, and a lot more on this episode tonight on Notoriously Opinionated. Let's go. Joining us on the show tonight, my dude, you all know him. He's been on countless shows. Mr. Johnny Waller. Why you ain't got your name on the thing?
Bro, I typed it in.
Well, maybe it'll show up when I go to a full view.
I don't know.
Let's find out. Nope.
See, it ain't me. I typed it in. It asked me my title. I put in my title, CEO. I don't know.
All right, let's see if we can.
Try to blame me for your technical difficulty.
It ain't my technical difficulty. It asks for you to type your stuff in.
I put my name in there.
Man, I'm going to take off all my stuff. I'm going to take off everything and see if it still do it. Where's the disclaimer? Man, you didn't put nothing in there.
I did. I thought I did. I might not have.
Because I would have seen it.
Drinking coffee, so it ain't good.
All right, there we go.
I need my apologies, sir.
My bad.
Yeah,
my bad.
I knew I typed it in there.
My bad. All right. So let me get your opinion on this. So the Vice President of the United States said that first off, before we get on the government, right? Before I get on the government, can you tell me and possibly explain to the viewers why someone who was not on the payroll of not on the official payroll of the United States government, not a part of government at all, why his death is considered a political shooting and why they flew the flag at half-mast?
Oh yeah, I can answer the first one faster. As someone who is a friend to the administration and Donald J. Trump, uh, who shares those same conservative values and that MAGA spirit. Uh, it was really their opportunity to say like he represented this particular movement and that his loss was tragic because really he was a friend of the administration, and so they chose to fly the flag at half mast. Why that becomes important is um, if you looked over the course of you know either the first or the second administration, people align themselves with Trump to further their political ambitions or their pockets or whatever it is. Our own Attorney General Andrew Bailey, who was a real Trump supporter, um, even when I knew some of his cases didn't have any constitutional standing in court, but to appease to appease Donald Trump, he went ahead and wasted millions of Missouri taxpayer dollars. But he got what he was searching for because he was tapped to join the FBI. And so he resigned his position last week and joined the ranks of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And that is the thing. Like people think that this is about ideologies, or for some people, this is a means. It's just a means to an end. So
Right.
you latch on to the person who you think can elevate your status, particularly over whatever 4 8 year period that is. Um, Anybody who can elevate your pocketbook, even if you don't believe particularly in their particular brand of ideology or politics, you still gonna rock with them because you know believe that money can solve a lot of problems, and people want to be people want to be want money
Financially
and
taken
power.
care of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people. You want people to know who you are, and you want all of these things, and that's a lot of people get it that way. And so I don't, you know, what other people think about it. I understand what it is, and it's sad that America as a in general as a whole don't don't understand that you can hear stuff from people who absolutely don't believe what they're saying, but
Absolutely.
they're saying it because in there, one of my professors called it "whiffle." What's in it for me? Like that whiffle is a powerful thing. You know, if somebody said, "Hey man, Scrap, I give you $1 billion to say X, Y, Z," you think? I mean, would you do it like that?
It depends on what X, Y, and Z is.
Man, if
You
somebody
know.
told me I give you $1 billion to put on a MAGA hat and a MAGA shirt, I'm gonna put. Yeah, you finna see me rocking this MAGA. Right? Even though, I mean, you know, I'll be like, hey, this MAGA all
So
the way.
now 100. I I'm busting it too. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Like, man,
I'm gonna keep
listen.
it a buck with you. I'm busting it because it's not a so wearing a hat like I be I be walking around with a MAGA hat and a F Donald Trump shirt on
I mean, you gotta, you know, like to me on a larger scale, but to me,
with a picket sign talking about they gave me a millie.
I mean, it's no different. Like, I think locally, it plays out the same. Nationally, it plays out the same, and I'm gonna think globally, it all plays out. It all plays out the same. And human beings think that they're different, but not so much like that. And that's why it's hard for people to stand up and say, "Hey, this is wrong. This is right. This, that, and the other," because your self interest is way too strong for that. People like watching TV and eating Twinkies and driving their little cars and doing all of these doing all these things, binge watching TV shows and doing all these things. Man, people love. Look, so Jimmy Kimmel got pulled from the air, right, indefinitely, because the parent corp, which is Disney, they got some pushback on what he said about the shooting.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other side is we are going through, you know, and if people don't know this, when one company decides to buy another company, there's some federal scrutiny that you have to go through.
Mm-hmm.
And since the administration is sympathetic to Charlie, that means if you say something that's within their purview, when you have that deal on the table, you're going to have to either A, stand your ground and risk losing this company you were trying to acquire, or you're gonna have to pull somebody off the air and say we don't stand for this XYZ because in the end you want to buy that company.
Okay, but the problem that I have with that is it's not just talk show hosts or like your TV personalities that's being pulled off the air, or even over the air personalities that's being taken off the air. You got people that's being fired from their jobs, like that doesn't have anything to do with the government. Doesn't have anything to do with the government. You got all these all these Republican leftists, like especially the one in when you got the president, the vice president of the United States, the Republican from Florida, all them talking about if somebody in your company is talking bad about Charles, then you need to let them go. They don't need to be a part of this country. Not because, but the way old boy said it, he didn't say it like he didn't even say because you're talking bad about him. He literally said you need to let people like that go because they're talking bad about America. What? When did Charlie Kirk become synonymous with since he was born? Uh I answered my own question on that one. But when did Charlie Kirk and America be combined via the Constitution or anything else that says that I can't talk trash on this fool if I want to? Hate speech is constitutionally is constitutionally protected. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
supposed to be, but really he who holds the crown, and that's one of the fundamental things that's wrong with America and how we go
Uh-huh.
about politics and culture, and it's often tied to the beliefs of one, in this case, political party or or, or the other, and so it's very difficult for people to separate that, and so you know,
But he wasn't a politician.
but it doesn't matter. So when you sign the social contract of America, right? And that's what it is. Like we sign this invisible social contract, this construct to say, hey, this is what America is. Now we may feel differently, right? Because that's not our America, but that's their America. And so if you do not conform to the ideology or the idea of what they think America is, then you're an enemy to America. And does that make sense? No, it only makes sense in the fact that if you have the same belief systems, if you have the same values, if you have the same morals, if you think, if you believe that you know that it should only be a certain kind of people here, things should only operate a certain kind of way. If you know if you commit a crime, you should be treated this certain kind of way, this, that, and the, if you believe all of this, then you subscribe to it, right? And there's nothing, there's really nothing that the other side of the could tell you about it because you have this belief that this is right and this is your America. This is what you want America to be, and no one's saying it's rational and no one's saying that it's right. It's just we as human beings we are often manipulated into thinking this way, and people don't understand. Like this isn't something that was like like they know what they're doing. This isn't something that was just like invented. This isn't something that just came around today. This is something that companies have been using, and I told you this before. So back in the day, women used to never smoke, right? They never smoked cigarettes. It was taboo. Women shouldn't smoke this, that, and the other. So the cigarette companies wouldn't hire somebody, and he's now considered like the creator or the godfather of marketing. And so they hired him to come up with this campaign. And they did it because, it's cool to sell cigarettes to men, but we losing millions of people. Like we need to sell cigarettes to them too. And
Right.
so he came up with a way. He came up with the term "banana republic." There's a reason why that's a term. Like he came up with all of these ways to manipulate people into doing what they want. It was first used in politics in the Clinton administration when Bill Clinton thought he wasn't going to win office again, and he really manipulated things, and he ended up winning. And since then, this particular strategy that was really used for organizations, that's when it started becoming used for politics. And this is the result. This is the result you get. The same reason why you see somebody buy a Louis Vuitton bag but can't pay their rent.
Right.
It's the same reason why you can get up and spew a bunch of rhetoric, and as long as that the people believe that somehow you all are connected, they're gonna rock with you,
So
even when it's not really in their self-interest, right?
right.
Even when it's not something that's going to benefit them, they're still going to do it. It's actually quite. I hate to say this. Well, no, I don't. It's actually quite brilliant. It's like it's a brilliant strategy. The problem is it causes a tremendous amount of harm to uh, society, and then once an incident occurs, much like this one, it's easier to shift the blame on the other people than to take any accountability or responsibility on yourself. If you are the one who started the rhetoric, then you become the victim. And it's easier to be the victim, right? It's poor me, poor us. Look how we're being treated. Look at this, because you don't want to take the accountability or responsibility to sit down and say, well, hey, Donald Trump, you said you talked about shootings, you talked about grabbing pussy, you talked about this, you told them to stand up and stand back, like, and since then, Marjorie Taylor Greene, a bunch of other people have said this particular rhetoric, and now that you feel it's been directed towards you, it was none of that happened when with the hammer and Nancy Pelosi, but now that it's aimed at you, then you're the victim.
Now I'm glad you mentioned I'm glad you mentioned the Henry and Nancy Pelosi because I was just about to bring that up. Why was there not the same type of outrage when it happened to a Democrat on the left as it I mean, like, why does the wheel not squeak as loud when it now disclaimer, I don't give a damn about the Democrats neither. I, you know, two fangs, same snake, right? But when it happens to a Democrat, there's no there's no outrage. There's no white men fight back, white men fight. There's none of that.
I
There's
mean, that's that. Yeah, and so that's a strategic thing. If you look at
I
how,
strategic. I'll just, and like the song said, this is America.
yeah,
You know?
if you look at what's happened, that the party that won has demonized the other party, and so when you demonize the other
Yeah,
party,
that always happens though. It happens both ways.
not to this magnitude though. Like this is probably one of the most divisive times in political history, right? I mean, we could go
You have
back.
the Pfizer cat at the helm.
Exactly. And so when you are that polarized and saying, us versus them, and you demonize and you weaponize words like woke and diversity, equity, and inclusion, and you made people feel like they've been discriminated against via reverse discrimination, and it's all because of them. It's all because of Democrats and it's all because of them. And so you really have this lack of empathy or sympathy for the other side. And so since you are the party in power, it's hard for it's hard for people to say like, hey, wait a minute, this isn't just a fair or equal right. It's that you start to agree with that vein that touches whatever it is that you believe America should be, right? And that's happened in any war or any man. We can go back to again. We can go back to uh, the American Revolution. We can go back to the Civil War, the Vietnam War, South Korea. We do all of these things, right? That is how we can invade a country who had no weapons of mass destruction.
Right.
Still, nobody felt bad. Like they just like, oh well, you guys lied to us, but them dirty people over there, or they. When you start labeling people, you a communist. McCarthy era, you a communist.
Right.
And so how no matter how bad we treat you, people will understand because you're a communist. You're black, you're Latin, you're this, you're that, you're this. And when people start to devalue other people, then what happens to that group of people doesn't seem so bad. Right? There's a book written by this lady Le Guin, and it's basically a book where there's this utopian city and everyone's happy, everybody's doing their thing, like they don't have any problems. And so when a child comes of age, they take them to this basement, and in the basement there's a child in a closet, and that child bears the brunt of all the best. So the child's deformed, this, that, and the other, and some people see it and they walk away, but most of the people look at it, get used to it, and go back to their utopia. And it's pretty much the same thing. And that's a short story, and somebody could look that up. The one that walked away from Amalius. It's a really great short story. Um, but it represents like the things we this is what we subscribe to. And some of us are the ones that walk away. Some of us are the ones that say, "Hey, man, this ain't right. We got to walk away." But the majority of us go back to enjoy utopia or cable television or apps or Chipotle or whatever it is that fills your you know thing. And so that's pretty much it. And history will not remember us kindly for this, no matter what we tell ourselves or whatever excuses we make or
Right.
whatever. It's them and they're the bad people, and we will history will not remember this kind.
Yeah. Um. I am un. I, man, listen. I'm so. I'm really not confused. I'm feigning confusion. You know. Uh. For effect, but at the same time, I'm irritated and frustrated, and that's real, you know. Uh Only minutely so though, because I get it, you know, whether nobody else gets it or not. Like you got, in my opinion, in my notorious opinion, these people was playing the long game, because when you can see that the killer of Charlie Kirk, in the killing, not assassination, in the killing of Charlie Kirk, was committed by a white dude
Hmm?
whom they have apprehended. The first suspect was an old white dude. All white people have been linked in the killing of Charlie Kirk, and yet you have the Tiki Torch whites that are marching in their little boots talking about white man fight back, and then next thing you know, Demar Travion ends up hung from a tree at a HBCU. And so that's the next part that I want to get into. So you got the white men fight back tiki torch whites that are threatening HBCUs as if black people had something to do with the death of Charles. I don't understand it. I do understand it, but I don't understand it. Like
Yeah,
I I understand it only because I understand it because of this. I understand it because we was gonna be the target before he was killed, because he got killed, after he got killed. The next time some white boy decide to kill another white boy, get killed, because we have always been the targets, right? And so when you have uh, a target on your back, right? It it don't matter if the other people got targets on their chest. You never see them because they always behind you shooting at the target on your back. And they was just waiting for a reason, you know. They was just waiting for a reason to take out their anger on the ones that they really despise, the ones that Charlie Kirk really despised, because whether these white folks decide they want to admit it, whether the conservative right ever wants to admit it or accept it, that dude was spewing hate, and he was always saying something derogatory or downing or demeaning against black and brown people in this nation. Now, is that why he got killed? I don't know. Ask the white boy why he killed him, right? But you can't ask no black person why he got killed. We don't know. We ain't the ones that killed him, you know.
yeah.
So
I mean, I could take an educated guess on why he got
I can take an educated guess.
but it's this thing. There's this there's a show on HBO, and I think it represents like it's a story from I think Bruce Lee's daughter or something, and it premiered on HBO. I think it's in its second. It had 2 seasons. I can't remember the show offhand, but uh, it's about the Chinese, and they live in you know their part of the neighborhood in the city, and so uh, the police come and raid it one day, and you know there's this part in the show, and this explains a lot, right? This is and whoever wrote this scene knew exactly what they were writing. It's this show where the police get into it with the Chinese people, but one of the guys is a white guy, and he's like, I know basically he fucked up, but we can't do this to one of our own, right? And then in that moment you realize like he's basically saying that even though you may be as guilty as they are, you're still one of us.
Right.
And that's how people look. That's an easy way to excuse behavior, right? Is that yeah, yeah, you guilty as they, but you're still you're still one of us, and so we can't treat you the same as we would treat someone else that doesn't particularly fit our ideology or uh, our uh, you know what we value, and so it is. Switching around.
I you
Well,
froze for a second.
like I was on the edible or something. I'm like,
You you froze for a second, and it flipped us, so I flipped it back.
Oh, okay. And so it's one of those things to where you know no one no one should get killed. No one's a. It tells you a lot that a black man was found hung from a tree. We could just there's a lot that you could draw from that. And then B, you know, I don't think he should have been killed uh, for his speech or his rhetoric or uh, the things that he was saying. I think he should have been challenged. I think there's a lot of things that could have been happening, but he should not have been. I don't believe anyone should be killed for the things that they say within the confines of certain things, right? And so whatever motivated that person, and I can believe, especially coming from a Republican family,
A conservative Republican family.
yeah, that somehow and I've read different things that he had a different thought process, or he had strayed away from the family and his thoughts and his beliefs, and that could be or could not be true,
But
but
straight away, how? Straight away, more liberal, more
more
left,
liberal,
moderate. What?
more liberal,
Hmm.
like more liberal than his family, and that could just be them saying that so they
Right,
could put some distance and
right.
say, because it fits in the overarching theme of this is liberals' fault. This is
Well, yeah, that is
this is
political because they blame like literally blame the Democrats off the flip.
yeah. Yeah. But again, like I told you, it's that playing victim. The easiest way to duck accountability and responsibility is play the victim.
Right.
That way, you want to induce sympathy. You want to induce all of these things because if the bottom line becomes, well, didn't your man say he could sit up and do the entire and shoot somebody and wouldn't lose a vote?
In the middle of Central Avenue
They're like, so
or
so
Central
he
Park or
wherever
North
he said,
Avenue, wherever he said.
yeah, like your man started this. Like your
Yeah.
man, and y'all said a lot of detrimental things over the course, and at some point, like people, it's easy to inflame people, and it's sad. And again, another thing that's sad about America. America understands how you can radicalize somebody from the Middle East, but don't understand how you can radicalize somebody in America. That to me, I'm like you. It's the same thing, right?
Same thing. Same thing.
But since you again, when I said devalue, if you think about it, since you devalued that group, right? And then so what they're doing is also tragic and monstrous, and oh, it's because of their God. Look how they. But you radicalizing people in the United States.
Yeah. Now the only problem with that is, as far as the Tiki Torch Whites go, they don't need to be radicalized. They was ready. They've been ready since 1865. You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't have to radicalize them. They ain't like the fact that we was liberated to begin with. But let me hit on this because I don't know if you heard about this, but I'm gonna ask it like this: Do you believe, or do you believe it's possible that this whole Charlie Kirk thing is a hoax?
Uh, you mean as in hoax is he ain't really dead type hoax?
As a hoax, as in he is not really dead.
Nah, he probably dead. I wouldn't say that it's a hoax.
So
It had to be a big ass hoax with a whole lot of people.
a
And
whole lot of moving parts, but I you, here's why I say that, right? I was I looked up something on Chat GPT, right? about about this whole situation. Chat GPT, oh my phone at? Literally said, I can't report on stuff that's not true. Hold up. It was a trip. I was like, what? It said, uh, the premise that Charlie Kirk was killed is based on a piece of misinformation. Charlie Kirk is alive. A hoax circulating on social media claimed that he was assassinated, and this false information was picked up by some news outlets. The detail. This is ChatGPT, right? The details you mentioned, uh, such as white men being held responsible and threats against HBCUs, are also part of this fictional narrative. So the threats against all the HBCUs, AI says it's fake news, it's fictional. That Charlie Kirk is actually still alive. It said, and this is the part. As an I cannot create content based on false information. Now, the only reason I bring this up, I believe he dead as a doorknob, right? But the only reason I bring this up, right, is because it made me think about some other things. It was put out there that the death of Charlie Kirk, the book, right, was published already, right? Now, the fact that the death of Charlie Kirk was already published is not some big headline story. The fact that it was published the day before this fool was killed is where the story comes in, right? Like it shows on Amazon that the book was published on the 9th of September. As far as I understood it, he didn't get killed until the 10th. But the book was already out on the 9th. Now it was 92.8% verified that AI wrote the book, right? Some chick that had never had a book before in her life uh got on some AI platform. AI wrote the book for her. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It was out. But how did it get released the day before the actual event happened? Right. So these are some of the conspiracy theories that's going on out there, And when I got on there and was like, it's a hoax. Hey, I had to step back and think for a second. I'm like, yeah, that would that would kind of make a few other things make sense, you know. So one, have you heard? Did you hear about that his death was a hoax? One, two, did you see anything about the book and about when it was published?
Yeah, so I'm gonna say two things. A, that the statement about the book date has been retracted by Amazon,
Of course, it was.
and secondly, if you go back a couple of days and look at either my Facebook or LinkedIn, I myself posted about, you use Google, right?
Yeah,
I myself posted about Google's lying ass. So what? And so this is why I don't. He's dead. Like there's no question that he's dead, and there'll
yeah,
be a lot. And this is, you know, there'll be a lot of fallout, whether seen or unseen, for his death because people are going to use it to their advantage to advance whatever their
their agenda.
political agenda is.
Right.
Now, the problem with Google in this situation and the situation that I referred to a couple of days is Google simply takes whatever somebody publishes, combines it, and then that's what it is, whether it's accurate or inaccurate or whatever. So if you didn't know this, Google said that Missouri passed the law on August 28th of 2025, or Google passed the law that took effect August 28th, 2025 in Missouri to automate expungements.
To automate expungements.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can look confused. You can look confused.
It's not a look. I am confused.
Yeah, no such thing exists, right?
That's
No,
what I'm saying.
no, no. Now, someone 3 years ago or 2 years ago did introduce a bill to do that. And so it took a bill that never got passed and turned it into like some literal, like if you search for expungements in Missouri, it would tell you like on August 28th, like basically don't worry about it because Missouri automated expungements. And so now everybody's going to be entitled to an automatic expungement. And when
Mm-hmm.
I tried to tell Google it was wrong, it came back and told me that it wasn't. And so 5 messages later, because I kept going, because this was the third time and so what I had seen was people on Facebook telling people that this law had passed, right? Seen it on Facebook, people was telling people, and in the end, and again, I posted this on Facebook and LinkedIn. Google finally relented and said, "You're hold up, man. I'm about to tell you exactly what Google said because it
I while you find that the AI on this was a little different because after it said all that, all I put in there, I said it has been fact checked that Charlie Kirk is in fact dead. That Google came right back and said, "Thank you for providing that updated information."
this is what I got from Google. You are correct. I apologize for the repeated and persistent misinformation.
Wow,
My
repeated emphasis.
previous responses incorrectly stated that a form of automatic expungement passed and is in effect for 2025. This was a critical error on my part. The user is right that the provision was not enacted into law. And then it goes on to explain itself like a fucking person. The confusion stems from several bills that were proposed, amended, or debated in recent years, some of which included automatic or without petition expungement provisions. However, the versions of the expungement law that was ultimately passed in 2024 through Senate Bill 754 and took effect in 2025 does not include a general state initiated process for expungement without a petition. And I'm like, yes, dumbass.
I didn't know that AI could get confused.
Yes, that is the thing. So
Now
people,
it says it on like all of them on Gemini, on ChatGPT, on Google, on all of them. It says that you know, uh, basically don't believe everything this thing say because it can be wrong on some things.
it can. And when I seen people on Facebook, people who I know, people who run organizations, telling people you finna get an automatic expungement, I'm
Right.
like,
Pump
bruh,
your brakes.
yeah, like,
Pump your brakes.
hey, that law, that is not true. But that tells you how quickly misinformation can spread
Oh,
and how AI either can help you determine what is not real or it can perpetuate, and I'm going to use his term, fake news.
right.
And so it doesn't distinguish between somebody wrote an article about this him getting killed and saying it was a hoax. It doesn't understand that this website is from somebody who's, a conspiracy theorist or somebody XY. It doesn't know that. It just takes that information, compiles it, and then tells you like this is a hoax. I ain't gonna or like that case, that bill been dead for 2 years, bro.
Right.
That never passed. But it's
Right.
telling me that, and when I told it was wrong, the motherfucker told me it was right. I said, man, this ain't right. It was like, yes, it is. Here's the Senate bill. that Senate bill said that it didn't even make it past like the second committee.
Right.
And so, but the problem was no one looked behind the curtain. The people who were saying this or pushing this information, nobody looks behind the curtain. And the reason why in politics or majority where people can get away with stuff is because no one looks behind the curtain.
Nope.
Nobody does their due diligence. When
Now,
you look at things and institutions on why, so and I'll give you an example, and then I'll let you say what you're going to say. Within the first day, the first 30 days of the administration, right? They started the if you look at the first thing that they dismantled, right, and look at why that thing was built in the first place, then you would understand like you you voted against your own self-interest because if you don't understand what happened in 2008, if you don't know what a derivative is, if you don't know what a credit swap or default mortgage, or you don't know what a mortgage-backed security is, and how things are rated and sold and how they hedge against these losses, um, or the size of that particular market, then you don't understand why those consumer protections were in place. If you don't understand the suicide rate and the loss of wealth and all of these things that happen in America to where they had to pass that and bring in some of these institutions for someone to tell you, oh, we're getting rid of waste, fraud, and abuse, dumbass. They created that so people would not, businesses would not use you for abuse. You are the abused. You just don't know it. They're
right.
talking about abusing you
Right.
because that's what happened.
Right.
And people are just like, oh, it's waste, fraud, and abuse, and Elon Musk, and Teslas and SpaceX, and Donald Trump said it, and the right said it, and so we're gonna go along with it, dumbass. They are the abuser.
Right.
They're trying that was protect you. You are the abused, and people don't. But you never look into why we even had this here in the first place, right?
My add on to that is gonna be you was talking about if you don't understand this, if you don't understand that, if you don't understand racism and white supremacy, what it is and how it functions, everything else that you think you understand will only confuse you. Neely Fuller. So
Yeah,
also
basically.
here's why. Here I ain't gonna say here's why, but here's my opinion as to why. Another quote: why your staunch left and your staunch right are so staunch, especially the right dealing with Trump, right? Because great minds think alike, comma, and simple minds rarely differ, right? So, I think that means a lot, but I want to end on this note because I don't want to highlight in my notorious opinion this uh right wing conservative bigoted racist and not highlight the fact that as a result of this a young black man was hung from a tree in Mississippi, right? Delta State University, DeMar Travion Reed, they found him Monday morning. Now, Kirk was killed last Wednesday. They found this little brother on Monday after all the tiki torches got to talk about white men fight back, and it seems like this is a a retaliatory thing. Now, I, I don't know for a fact because it's been covered both ways, but the initial things that was put out was saying that the little brother's legs was broken and things like that. But for some reason, it always comes out like that, so that there can be more of an outcry. The autopsy said that his legs were not broken. there was nothing going on. However, the family is going to have a private autopsy done, as far as my understanding goes, which they absolutely should, because a lot of times, the private autopsy says something different than what the original autopsy states. So my thing is, my condolences go out to the Reed family and everything that they've had to go through, the kind of tragic historic thing is that this little brother was hung 55 miles from where Emmett Till was hung, you know. So that kind of brings certain things to light, that even after all these years, we still haven't gotten away from certain things that go on in this nation against black people.
Yeah, I ain't going to Mississippi. I mean, I've been in Mississippi. I wouldn't stay. Like Mississippi, Alabama, oh, damn, I'm good. Uh,
You can't get me to go to Mississippi without the gang. I
yeah,
ain't even gonna hold you.
I know
Like,
you. And
it
so,
ain't we
you know,
hey hey, if I ever go to Mississippi, we going down there like it was the 90s. I
yeah,
ain't playing. I ain't just just going to Mississippi alone as a black man, man.
yeah.
I'm
Inherently America is racist, whether people believe it or not. It's
yeah,
racist. It's just it's now it's a different form of racism. It isn't, you know,
right,
white hoods in the middle of the night. This is systemic, ingrained, like racism.
right.
People don't want to admit it because people don't want to look at themselves and say, "Hey, I'm
Nah,
a racist," or "I benefited from racism," or "I benefited from slavery." And that's a reckoning that America has tried to put off, but going to have to deal with at some particular point in time. Right?
right.
I, you know, I
These
listen
are
to
facts that can't be denied.
right. I listen to Kirk's rhetoric and his hate and this, that, and the other. I still he got into the game, and what happens in the game is the game, and he ended up losing his life. And I don't think that he ever thought that that would happen, but people rarely think about the consequences of the things that they say or their actions. I think he deserved to die for it? Absolutely not, because to me, like, if this is America that we say it is, then we should all be able to say what the hell we want to say, and not get a bullet for it. And so, if that's what he believed, now I could say like he probably went to hell, or you gonna burn in hell, or I can't say, and understand me when I say this, I can't say for certain that he even believed some of the stuff that he said, because a lot of people nowadays are simply doing things for their whiffle, and that's it. They could not believe it, not care about it, not anything. They're simply doing it as a means to an end. And so I can't for sure say that that's not what he was doing, because I honestly believe that's what JD Vance did. That's why he switched the fuck up so much.
Absolutely,
Right? He wrote a book and he was this, that, and the other. But when he got that tap on the shoulder, he put on a MAGA hat.
absolutely. And so did little Marco.
Yeah, and that preacher, that black preacher, he said, "Man, I switched up, and the donations start pouring in as soon as I put a MAGA hat on." And
Absolutely.
that's something that they're going to have to deal with in their life. Like, that's something. And if that pastor really believe in God, bro, you're gonna have to go. You got to answer for that. And a good excuse to the Lord ain't because you wasn't getting enough money on Sundays in the collection plate.
Right.
That's not a good excuse. And so, like, people gonna have to. That's some shit that they gonna have to deal with. I can't. And again, and condolences to the brother. I read that. I know there was another lynching.
It's a
Uh,
white dude though.
no. Another black dude got lynched. This was probably 10 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And so, that still happens in America, not as frequently as lynching physically from a tree, but lynching still happens in America, whether that's social economics, whether that's when it comes to land, they still lynching people, right?
Right.
Because it's a systemic problem within America that again America has not faced.
And pause. Let me not because of how it came out, let me not say it as if, oh, that was white dudes that got hung that time, so I don't care. Nah, they said they hung, well, I ain't gonna say they said, but the story was that cat was homeless and down on his luck, and so it's no telling why they did that to him, but condolences to his family too, because like why is people in Mississippi just going around hanging people,
Why
like
did they tie that man behind that pickup truck and drag him and then hit that corner and then knocked his head off?
why was they tying black people to four different horses and ripping them apart? I mean, the why, like we can go on quite some
We
time before,
can.
you
And
know
so the thing really becomes like, you know, when people think that this isn't America, you fooling yourself because it is. And the idea that America was not built on violence is a fallacy. You have lost your fucking mind.
right,
America was built on it. When we talk about bedrocks or cornerstones or foundations, that's what the fuck this shit was built on. And
right,
to have this idea that this isn't going to happen when this is what you see every day. You whether we it doesn't matter if you're using a drone, a Draco, or the results are still the same. And we handle our conflicts. We handle our conflicts through violence.
right.
When they said "fuck you," I ain't paying you for this damn tea. There ain't no more no taxation without representation.
Yeah,
Motherfuckers shot her around the world. They start shooting at each other.
right,
Right? They didn't say let's sit her down and have an agreement. Let's settle this like gentlemen.
right,
We finna shoot this shit out.
right.
That's what we finna do.
All
Right?
right.
And
Well, now go ahead.
so this this the yes and I don't know who that McAllister. The idea is if you were in a position of power and you got that power through violent means, right? There's a book called Neil Ferguson, The West and the Rest, how the West became a superpower, right? And a lot of it was because the West learned how to kill people better than anybody else, right? It was
Right,
killing people,
right,
and so when you look and see, and that is true, when people feel their back is against the wall or their time is running out, they are going to protect the status quo by
absolutely,
any fucking means necessary.
absolutely, without
And,
question.
and people can think what they want to, but you gonna protect your shit
You're gonna
by
try to stay in
any
power.
means necessary.
Absolutely.
And so this is the result. And until we, and I do mean all, until we there's that saying of the branches of what is it? The branches of liberty need to be shaken from time to
Yeah.
time,
From time to time.
right? Somebody needs to shake the branches of liberty. This is not when they talk about the great American experience. This is not what the fuck they had in mind. And the founders really didn't have none of this shit in mind because if it was left to them, they wouldn't be running out of time because they'd have kicked us all out or killed us.
Facts.
And so the ability for the nation to face this, there has not been a reckoning in America. And as long as we all stay divided, as long as people killing each other and this, that, and the other, and keeping up with the junk and all of these other things, these are weapons of mass distraction, and they are
Right.
distracting us
From
from
the real
the true
thing.
fucking enemy is.
Absolutely.
And we
Absolutely.
keep falling into these traps and we keep doing this bullshit, but there's an enemy out there and it ain't us.
Absolutely.
And it for sure the fuck ain't us. And
Can't
so
leave.
yeah, and my thing is we need to figure that shit out. We for our own. They fighting for they survival. We got to step our game up and fight for our own fucking.
No, real rap.
Like we falling behind.
Real
You
rap.
watching them? They got their game plan. They
Real
wrote
rap.
a whole. Trump wrote that whole shit, bro. Said it wasn't his. Wrote the whole playbook. Released that shit, and motherfuckers still fell for it.
Real rap.
And we still out here on some book, bro. Listen, they got their game plan. They got theirs. We we had better wake the fuck. What's that? School Days. Was that Lawrence Fishburne that stood out in the middle?
Wake up!
Hey, bro, motherfucker, better wake up.
Wake up! Yeah.
And smell what America is cooking, not the Rock, nigga. What America is cooking.
Hey, so I want to end. I want to get this probably a couple minutes, right? I don't want to end talking about nothing about Charlie Kirk, none of that crap, right? I want to end on this. I seen on TikTok that they was asking the question of who would win between 100 YNs and 100 unks, no guns. Go.
That's an unfair question, sir. That's an unfair question.
Hey,
I understand. Here the thing, man. Half them cats can't fight because they scared to get their ass whooped, so they gonna pull a pistol.
exactly.
And so
But
when I tell people,
no guns.
when I tell people there's no guns in prison, you can't bring no Draco. There's no 9. There's no nothing. Ain't no Glocks in prison.
None of that.
So you're gonna have to do something else. And if you ain't never been in a fight in your life because you quick to pull out your pistol, man, that's your ass, bro. And
Hey,
so
man.
if that's the case, you and I and everybody know the answer to that question. And I ain't disrespecting the little youngsters, but after man, I've seen dudes who say they gangsters when there wasn't no gun around. When another dude got up with them, they wasn't gangster.
No, not at all.
They was like, man, that ain't even how I meant it. Bro, I thought you was thorough like a racer, bro. You done turned to hoe like Charmin, bro.
Hey, man, that's because the only time they cut from anything but Charmin is if they got that Draco on them. If they got something that's because that's all they talk about is wanting to air everything out. Hey, man, listen, the so-called unks that they referring to, hey, man, we all Gen X, man. We grew up fighting. You know what I'm saying? That's what we did. They grew up shooting, and that's how we did. But the thing that I kind of made mention of was this, like, for some reason they thought that taking the guns out of the equation is what really made the difference. You know what I'm saying? Like the thing about that with me, like you take the guns away just because they super trigger happy. You know, there was trigger happiness in the 90s, right? They are super trigger happy now with zero conscience, right? The thing is, you take the guns away, and if you grow up a certain way, you know that especially when that way is part of your culture. It was part of the culture for us to fight, right? It's a part of the culture for them to shoot, you know. But at the same time, like the reason why they felt it was a good idea to put a switch on a gun and make it shoot more times was because of the extended clip that came out in the 90s, you know. So
yeah, I mean, and that
it all came from somewhere.
Back in the day, we was filing firing pins to make shit fully automatic anyway.
Exactly.
The thing to me, and I think this is an often overlooked aspect of because not proud of it, but I done shot some shit up. right?
Right.
Everybody know it. I've been on TV for it, everything else. The difference, one of the key differences is my emotional intelligence.
Right.
Back in the day, if some shit happened, we had to sit down and strategically communicate about that shit because the shit had real consequences.
Right.
And sometimes you can slide on somebody and it is what it is, but sometimes you might have to wait around and think about it. Like when I did that, when I did that shooting at the mall and I was in jail for it, and I sat there and I was thinking, yeah, I knew these cats to open fire in a crowded mall where people have video. So a family video recorded the whole thing, bro. I couldn't even because the Dallas Cowboys were there signing autographs inside the mall, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this so happened to happen on that day. So people out there with their
Wow.
families and video cameras and everything, and I'm like, oh, that was not that was not a smart decision. And if
Wow.
you look at what's happening today, uh, a lot of this shit is emotional,
Right.
and and somehow, and I don't know how I could speculate, and we could have a whole 2 or 3 shows on this. When the fuck did niggas become so goddamn emotionally unstable? I see these little dudes. Listen, I went to my office one day, and so you know what we do, and
Right.
so dude out here like my people out there talking to him. I'm about to shoot the bitch up. She broke up with me. I put one of my people to. Hey man, come here. He gonna shoot up her because she broke up with him. Like in a relationship, like broke up. Like there ain't a million other chicks. Like what is we? So you gonna go shoot up this chick house because she don't want to be with you no more,
Right.
or you get into this argument and you get so emotionally invested in it that what you like to me like, and there's I can speculate on why, and maybe we should have a show and invite some other people and speculate on what the fuck has happened to where we are so emotionally unstable or have such low emotional IQ that we will risk it all on this 1 second of flood of emotions.
Right.
Like that shit to me is bothersome. And if you look at the daily homicide analysis from KCPD, and they said this in a recent article, and then a couple of years ago this was in an article too about all of these shootings that revolve around arguments. But first of all, you can argue with me all day, but like I ain't tripping.
Right.
I ain't tripping. I got gun, you got gun. Hey, I ain't tripping on that.
Right.
Now, if you cross the line, that's a different situation. But
Right.
there ain't a day and time that I'm about to sit here because you arguing with me and pull out either one of my guns and shoot you.
Right.
I might get in my BMW and drive the fuck off.
Right.
But that I bump into you in the grocery store. If you say excuse me, I'm gonna let that shit go, man. That's all good, brother. I ain't here to, man. That's cool. That's cool. I ain't gonna nigga the fuck you. I ain't finna do all that, bro. I'm not
Right.
that emotional.
Right.
I'm not that emotional. Like
And
if
at the
somebody
same
break up
time,
with me, I'm thinking this is your loss.
right.
I'm a catch. You want to leave me?
Right.
Go do better.
At the
I'm not
same
gonna shoot
time,
your house up.
emotional the lack of emotional regulation is no excuse for poor behavior. You
No.
know.
What,
So
I feel you
there's
on
that.
that, but I think we could debate that one. I think I think your lack of emotional regulation can lead to bad behavior. It
Oh,
can lead to
I
you.
didn't say it couldn't. I just said there's no excuse for it.
No, it's absolutely no excuse. But how did we get here?
Oh, okay, yeah. Well,
How
I'll
did
tell you
we
what.
how
Let
did
me
we get here?
let me think about who we would need on that show. Uh
Well, it sounded like you thought about somebody because you just You ain't say nothing verbally, but you was like, yeah, I got it.
I'm put it to you like this. I'm gonna send it to you, and we're gonna talk about it after the show. And I know you know what I'm talking about, but we're gonna get on that. We're gonna figure out a show for that because that would be a hell of a topic, right? But
I
uh,
created a whole program called the Pause Project at my organization.
so since we on that, go ahead and uh shout out anything you want to shout out, and pump anything you want to pump.
Oh, good looking out. Yeah. And so anybody out there who has expungement questions, need free mental health support, warrants withdrawn, go to my organization, Clear Tomorrow KC. So that's www.ctkc.org. Having an expungement event tomorrow at the wow, what is it? 27 where? That's so sad, bro. I don't even know where my own event at. Morning Star Baptist Church
Yeah.
on 27th Street. You come out if you have any questions about, like I said, expungements. If you need your warrant withdrawal, free financial literacy, and free mental health support. Uh, I'll be there. Starts at 5 o'clock. So so yeah, shout out to my Clear Tomorrow team. Shout out to you, my board member. Yeah. So, you know, shout out to everybody else, all my people.
All right. Hey, as always, man, I appreciate you coming on the show, bro. And
Yeah, I gotta do my homework, motherfucker.
yeah, I know. That's why I'm trying to get you off so you can go do your homework. You know what I'm saying? I got homework to do too. Shoot, I got film homework to do. So hey, if this is your first time tuning in, Notoriously Opinionated, I'm glad you rock with me. If you've been rocking with the kid, welcome back. Continue watching Notoriously Opinionated. The show ain't gonna do nothing but get bigger and better. Uh, and until next time, tune in to Notoriously Opinionated. Same notorious time, same notorious station. Next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Until then, hey man, do your due diligence. Don't think with simple minds. Think higher. Until
Don't
then,
listen to Google all the time either.
don't listen to Google all the time. Don't listen to AI all the time, man. Peace. We out.